Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Bite-Size Branding live show. We are running a little bit late this morning. Technical difficulties, as always, is the culprit. But we are here. We made it. And as always, I am Bernard Kassab from Ucidity, and I'd like to welcome Grant.
Hi, guys. My name is Grant Tom. I'm a head fire starter, and welcome to back at the show. Really enjoying these sessions, and yeah, I hope to unpick a couple of interesting topics again this morning. So, how are you doing today, Bruno?
Mate, it was, with technical difficulties, whenever they happen, they completely throw you. You're like, why is this happening to me? I'm like the same headphones, the same location, everything's the same. Why is this happening to me? But you know what? It's all good. The great thing is that we're here. I'm excited, as always, to have one of these shows. It definitely gets you fueled up on a Friday morning because that rapid fire, 5 minutes, you just got to get in there and get into the topic and then try and share something that's really, really relevant and valuable,
So one of the things I think we should start off is what makes a good podcast. I think that should be our first show. Let's talk about this experience, and putting a podcast together, what is good, what is bad, what is thrilling, what's scary. Let's unbundle our first show.
Sounds like a great plan. Let me grab the timer, as always.
Let's explain how the show works.
Oh, yes.
So ultimately, what we do at Bite-Size Branding is that we have Bernard and myself, two long-term professionals in the industry and the game who are passionate about marketing and advertising. And what we do is we talk about a subject, or we are given a subject with the view for the two of us to either debate or agree or add value to each other on a particular topic. But because we're so passionate, we can tend to talk too long. So what we do is we give ourselves the clock of 5 minutes, and we've got to unbundle a subject in 5 minutes or less. And therefore, we've just got to get in and we've got to knock each other out, and we've just got to get our stay in, because all at the end of the day, it's about quality, it's about value, it's about content, and also making sure we don't go too long. So ultimately, that's the concept of the show. We welcome guests to subscribe. We welcome guests to participate and like and share. But naturally, more important than anything else, if you ask us a question, that's ultimately what we want. We want to be challenged. We also want to know that we could go out and find something interesting. And also at the same time, we also want to look outside of our bubble as to what's happening in marketing and advertising. Ultimately, that's the show, Bruno.
Yeah, look, I think that's a great point. We want to get out of our bubble. So the people out there, if you've got something to share with us, you've got questions, you're not really sure about something, like is somebody saying SEM to you, or SEO, or search optimization, or branding, or rebrand, or brand, like, come to us with these questions. We're happy to answer them. We're happy to unbundle them and unwrap them so that you can get some real context and an understanding of what it all means.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, I think we start the first show. Are you ready with that?
You ready? Let's put this baby up here.
Okay.
And let's hit the timer. Let's go.
Go. All right. So the first one which is about what makes a good podcast to that of a bad podcast, in your experience, as to what you've heard, seen, and doing right now.
Yeah, look, in the context not only of our own show, but shows in general, I think the key thing is there's two key things. I think one key thing is a really good relationship between all the speakers so that they can bounce ideas off each other. And in that, point number two, so that the content keeps flowing. It has a really nice flow to it. It feels very conversational, very open-ended. Like, one really key thing when we put this together was that nothing was going to be scripted. It was going to be a couple topics, and quite often a lot of the topics come from conversations we're having, and then we're like, oh my God, we should talk about this on the show. And I think that kind of...
Is it topic right?
Yeah, well, this is where this topic came from. Yeah.
That's what we do. Yeah, very much. I think one of the things is that you've got to have a concept, and you've got to be passionate about your concept with the view to then have a particular show. You want to make sure that there's lots of content related to that topic with the view to unbundle. And at the end of the day, it's an educational platform. It's not an entertainment platform, as much as we try to entertain as well. But at the end of the day, it's an educational platform. So it's not about how professional you are. It's about how conversational you can be with the view of creating valid points for you and your guests participate on the subject.
Yeah, it's really about being authentic. Like
Correct.
just authentically, you are you, I am myself. We're having a conversation. All of this is real. We can't really fake this. It's live. So, and then even with your pre-recorded shows, also treat it like it's a live show. Like there's not a second take on this, and just talk. Like if you're really passionate about what you do, forget the script, take it, throw it out. Just have a couple of bullet points of what you want to cover off in the conversation, and make sure those things get covered off. Because if you focus too much on trying to hit every little word within your presentation, you're going to trip and you're going to fall, and it's going to sound scripted. It's going to sound unloved. Yeah, rehearsed. Like there's no passion behind it. There's no fire. You're not in the moment. It kind of takes you away and divides you away from the subject that you're talking about. Another thing that I'd mention as well is I know quite a few people who are starting up podcasts or already have podcasts out there that are pre-recorded. One recommendation that was given to me by a guy that I know in my network that has over 100,000 followers on his podcast is pre-prep at least 10 shows before you start your podcast. And we kind of did that as well. We essentially had our bite-sized branding. We have 20 something odd episodes out before we started doing the live stream. And that way, because right now we have a very much like binge culture, especially with Netflix. People want to get in and see like the first 5 episodes all at once. You can tap into that binge culture by providing those like 10 odd episodes right at the beginning there. So they come into the show and there's already a set of content there that's built up. So they're not coming in and just seeing one show and then going, oh, I have to wait until next month before I can see the next show. They can get in and just experience and learn and kind of grow and build that relationship. And then they'll be aching for the next show. They'll be waiting, there'll be that. Yeah.
Another thing is a show doesn't have to be live. It doesn't have to be. Okay. We just chose to go live because what's the difference between recording and going live? Because that live is a lot more scarier than recording somehow. Because like, for example, this morning we're having technical issues. We're late for the show. We haven't really got content planned and we're here to put it together. But what I believe as a professional is a person who can be woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning and asked to talk about his subject. I think that makes a professional at the end of the day. When you've done it so long in so many different ways, in so many different methods for so many different clients, and you really your subject matter in your terrain, I think that's what makes a professional, and I think that's part of the show.
Yeah, and hopefully that's what people get from our show too. Hopefully they come in and they just see that we're really passionate, we're really knowledgeable, we have a ton of experience, we have insights to share, and they want to come along for the ride, and that's what we want to build behind this. And it's also part of the reason why we like the energy that's behind it, and the reason why we set up the whole clock mechanism is to just keep that intensity there. So we're always talking, we're always building, we're always creating that fire, that energy,
But I think ultimately, Bernard, in the last 40 seconds, I would say that a podcast is all about creating content. It's about enhancing a product or a service that you're offering. And it's at the end of the day, be able to show your personality through a particular show with the view to make that enhancement. Because people buy people first before they buy service. People 100%. Buy service before they pay on price. Ultimately, you've got to put that it's out there. And this is where authentic is all about what social media is about. People want to buy real and authentic. They don't want to buy makeup and made to believe. They want to buy real, ultimately.
Yeah. And I think to capture it in 3 words, we've got passion, we've got authenticity, right? And we've got personality. So put your personality in it, be passionate about what you're talking about, and be authentic.
Yeah. And personality.
He ended in silence. When the technical difficulties don't finish, But
you're on such good points. I don't want to kill you. I don't want to steal that. But I saw that little end. I was like, where's the sound?
Where's the sound? Where's our bell gone?
Example of live show technical issues where the first show we started, the clock didn't work. Now
at all.
Whatever show we are, and we find now we've got a silent clock. Type of stuff. So that was a very good example of how to have fun with a podcast and work with technical issues.
Awesome. That was cool. I really like that subject, and I really like the opportunity to also share with everyone the experience that we're having, and it's definitely not easy. Like the live show, you hit the button live, and then that's it. You're in, you start, the show has started. And it's a bit, I wouldn't say nerve-wracking, but it definitely puts you on the spot. You have to be ready to go, and you have to be ready to show, so,
well, there's no retakes. Do you know what I mean? You're recording it, you can still, sort it out. There's no retakes. It's real life. And I think that's what social media is all about, is showing that real front and that authentic nature of what you're about. Because, when you're in front of a customer, you don't have do-overs. You're in front of a customer, you've got to perform straight on. So it's the same thing. So
and I think it's definitely a good opportunity to refine that too. Like, imagine if you struggle with presenting or talking in front of people, or even selling your product, this is a great way to refine that skill. Find somebody who really bounces off you and reflects you very well, and bring that conversation to the public. Like, bring it out live if you want to do it that way, and try and do it without retakes. Like, there's no mistake that's so big that people are going to be like, oh my God, this person is terrible. As long as you're not swearing or anything, like, be professional. But if you trip on your words, that's natural. People trip on their words, and if you have a good person to reflect you, they'll pick up where you might have tripped over, and then you can just come back in. So just allow it to happen. Just be a part of the moment, rather than trying to make it perfect, by the script.
Yeah. So Bernard, let's put it out there that those who want to start a podcast but are a little bit nervous, we welcome them to come onto our show. If they want to come and have a game with us, put it out. Anyone who wants to give it a go and got something interesting to say in the marketing and advertising space, and wants a little bit of a debate and a rah-rah, come into the show and join the jam,
And if you don't know what that experience will look like, just check out last week's show. Like, you saw how Chris, he just got in it, he loved it, he was having a good time. He got to just take over the show, essentially. That's what you get,
We gave him 2 extra minutes for the show, so
I know we had to. Awesome. Well, ready to talk about the next subject?
Yeah, second subject. Yeah. Right.
So this is an interesting one, and it comes up pretty often, whether or not you're, and it doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry. People always say a couple of different things, right? It'll either be, oh, I have this guy offshore that I can use to do all that work, or I have a mate or a friend of a friend, Alice. She says that she does graphic design, or she says that she does marketing. And look, there's no way to dispel that there are definitely some people who are going out there on their own and doing a great job. But what are the risks that, taking your sister or your brother's best friend's uncle to do the job? What are the potential risks that are kind of lying out there? So that's what we're going to, do you want to jump in there?
Yeah, well, I think we should. I think we're going to hit the clock. Yeah, have you got sound this time?
I believe so. We'll soon find out.
Okay, so let me start with this.
Yeah.
I think that no one likes to spend money. I got that. Especially in business. You're always looking for the best bargain, but ultimately you want the best return for your investment, ultimately. And I do say that, lots of people's children, or a lot of people's children's cousins, or a lot of people that they may know are creative. There's no dispute about that whatsoever. But I don't think that there is a cheap road to success. I think that there is an expensive road to success, in the sense that you pay for cheap many, many times over and not get results. If you just buy right first time, I think you will work out that you've got yourself a game plan, and you need to take it seriously. Because you know what? When you invest in your business, it is serious. And the one thing I always say to customers is that if you were injured and you had to go to a doctor to save your arm, you would find the best surgeon to save your arm. And if you're in jail for murder, you'll find the best lawyer to get you out of jail. You're not going to find the cheapest. So therefore, why do you find the cheapest people to assist you in your business? Doesn't make logical sense to me. Hence why I think you need to pay for the ultimate, in the sense of people who have know-how, understanding, passion for what they do in your business. Sorry, a long intro.
No, that was a good entry, and you covered off some really good things in there. Like, it's exactly that, right? I always say, because quite a lot of our customers come to us after they've been through 1 or 2 different rebrands, or 3 or 4 different website builds. And we used to have this running joke that we were almost going to call our company third time lucky, because by the time they ended up with us, they finally got what they needed, And it's exactly that. And I say it to customers, because quite often they come to us and they say, look, our customers, they keep asking for discounts, or they ask for handouts, they ask for this and for that, right? And it doesn't feel good when you're trying to build something that feel like people don't value it, Yeah. And we go, well, if you didn't really invest in your business, you cut corners. Why would you think that your customers wouldn't expect to cut corners too? And you're basically creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if you cut corners in the beginning, then customers will cut corners with you in the execution. They'll say, can you throw in a little bit extra? Or can you cut the budget down a little bit? If you set yourself as a professional operator, what we like to say is that our clients have never been asked how long they've been in business, even when they've only been launched for a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
Because they look like they're really affirmed, have a great understanding, and are really strategic about how they operate their business. And it's not all us. Obviously, they have to get the operations right. They have to get the systems right. And then the brand just represents the professionalism that they've created and allows them to go to market really confidently and present themselves with the true value of their business.
Correct.
And, you know, not all of our clients are the cheapest in the market, but they definitely make really, you know, really strong sales and really position them well, themselves well for the market to value their product or service. And that's all based on the fact that what it really comes down to is confidence. I say to people like, would you ever turn up to a job interview, you know, in your pajamas? You wouldn't, right? It wouldn't look too professional. You're definitely not going to get that job, right?
Yeah.
So why would you go out there and present your brand and be like, oh, here's my business card, but I don't really look at it. It's not great. You know, do you really want to say that? What does that say about you? What does that say about your business? What does that say about your delivery of your product, you know?
But I think another thing, marketing, design, advertising is not a jumper that you just put on and wear for a period of time. It's something that is got to be part of it. It's got to be part of your hairstyle. And if your hairstyle is uncomfortable, you're going to feel uncomfortable. The same with your marketing. If your marketing's uncomfortable, you're going to be uncomfortable because at the end of the day, it's the way people see you and perceive you. But it's not something you wear today and forget tomorrow, and then you left it at work the third day. You know, it's something you've got to do every single day of your life.
Yeah.
And that's why you want to have a valuable partner that's got experience, got understanding, and has a diversity of expertise in multiple areas with the view to be able to come up with the answers. And that's where the money is. That's what you pay for at the end of the day, is someone that can assist you. Because, you know, running a business is very lonely. You want someone who is right there next to you, making sure you're successful. Because, you know what, we want to continue working with you. We don't want to have a short-term one design episode.
Yeah. We like to say your business is your baby and we're your brand parents.
Correct.
And another thing that you said in there that I wanted to add, just to kind of cap off what you just said, was that people don't really. There it is.
You go. Okay, we got a bit of sound. Yeah. All right. So bring it on.
So the other thing that I wanted to add in there is that if you're picking a person to help build the personification of your brand, what your brand is going to end up being, right? Also recognize that you're building a personality. People connect with the personality of a brand. So if you're choosing somebody to work on your brand, make sure that they're a good personality fit for the kind of brand you want to pick. Because eventually, essentially, they're going to be taking your ideas, creating something that represents those ideas to represent a personality that you want people to connect with, that you want people to resonate with in the market. And that's what businesses like Coca-Cola and Nike have done. That's why people talk about them so evangelistically, is because they created this culture that people just want to be a part of. And that's what you're really creating when you design the little element of your brand. You choose the color, you pick the logo, you create the marketing campaign. It's all about that personality that you're creating, that culture that you're building.
Sure. So one of the things that I've learned in the 35 years of doing this is that, and you must understand, I've worked on about 4,000 accounts. So I've really had my fair dealings of different personalities. Is that business is ultimately there to sell at the end of the day. It's to bring a living and to look after your family, and but that's the end. It's to sell it at the end of the day. That's ultimately should be the prize goal. So therefore, you need the very best people in your team, enhancing the brand, the experience, the customer, the profile, because the goodwill of the business is ultimately going to be the leverage that's going to give you your profit when you sell the business. So, you know what? Start right from the beginning.
Yep, definitely. Now, I'm excited about the next topic, and I'm sorry to just jump in, because I really do want to talk about this. I'm always excited about seeing new big business rebrands or any rebrands really out there, and seeing how people take.
Who's rebranded?
Commbank just this week kind of announced and
Really?
started their rollout for their rebrand. Yeah, I can actually, let me try and look. I'm going to try something technical. It might kill everything, but let me try and share the screen here. I've never done this before. Share screen. Yep, this screen. You're gonna see us for a second. There we go. So can you see my screen at the moment?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Okay, there we go.
So this is the new rebrand.
And that launched
sorry?
That launched this week?
That launched this week, yeah, earlier this week. You'll see it when you load up the Commbank app. They've already changed the splash screen, but everything else is still the old colors and the old look and feel. But what we're going to do in this next segment is we're just gonna kick around our thoughts on the new rebrand and whether we like it, don't like it, what we think, what we don't think about it, and just have a bit of an unbundling of oh, look at this, screens inside each other. And just have a bit of an unbundling around the Commbank logo. You ready to go?
All right, so you're not going to share the screen?
Do you want me to share it the whole time?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
Then we can see the points that we're referring to.
Mate, done. You don't have to ask me twice.
Well,
you can see that.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Awesome. Do you want me to kick it off?
Let's start off. Okay, so Bernard, do you know what that symbol in Commbank, do you know what it's representing?
So to be honest, no, I had to research it. I had to go and do a little bit of a Google. There are a bunch of little theories out there. I always like the one that it's a cracker dipped in Vegemite. I think that's a very relevant one. But the other one that I've heard of is that it's like it represents, an increase in essentially in profits kind of thing, like a growth type of chart. But the one that I found when I researched was that I
thought it was like one of those envelopes you put your money into.
Oh yeah, you like the little Dolomite type envelopes that you used to put your money into. Yeah, but the one that I saw online, which I just read in this article over here, actually says that it represents the corners of the Southern Cross. So there's the 5 little points of the Southern Cross, the small star that's in the slightly off on the right there, and then the other 4 points of the Southern Cross. So I thought that was quite interesting,
I can relate to that now that you've pointed that out. I can see what they were trying to do. I would never have gathered that by just seeing it. I think something that you needed to know. But I think it's a nice touch. I think it is a nice Australian touch.
I think either way, they've created a symbol that is so synonymous and so easily recognizable. And I think that was the great strength of the Commbank logo, is that you instantly, when you see it, it's Commbank, which is phenomenal. But let's get down to brass tacks. Yeah, let's really talk about
what they've done. Do you like what they've done?
To be honest, I'm not in love with it. I think the things that really get me about it is that I feel like they're stepping away from white space to add in a lot of black space, and I'm not sure if that's really the best positioning for a bank. The other thing that really that I see, and I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure about that, is I'm just not sure about the use of the gradient. Like, what is the point? What is the benefit? What is it adding value into the logo? And does the gradient really say now, or does it say like 10 years ago? You remember when every single logo you see would have this cool gradient in it, and then everyone would be like, gradients everywhere. I think the interesting take is how they've decided to stack the name of the brand, which I would love to know the reasoning behind that, whether it's the Commbank, like the Commonwealth Bank name is too long, so then placing it in a lot of different positions on marketing collateral was would be made difficult. Whether it was to even out the balance between Commonwealth and Bank, because I don't want the Commonwealth to take focus over the Bank. I would love to know what the reasoning was to do that. But
let me come in here.
Sorry?
Let me come in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So I agree with you on the gradients. I don't think that the gradients facilitates iconography, which is all about digital transformation of how brands look on digital applications like your app, phone, devices, that type of stuff. So I agree with you on that point. But I do think that what they have done is that they've gone and made it bolder than ever before. From going from white to black,
So black, yeah.
I think that they've really gone bolder. In the same breath, I think they've gone cleaner. So that little symbol has got bigger. They've stacked the logo. They've gone in a lighter font with the view that I think that maybe this heavy to light font is a little bit done and dusted now. A lot of people have done it. I personally, I'm a fan of it, but I think it's time to move on. And if I look at the two next to each other, I definitely think that the one on the black is stronger and more pronounced and more prominent than the one on the. So I definitely think that they've taken a step forward towards being bold, being less involved, and at the same time being cleaner in the sense of their establishment. So I don't think it's a bad turn.
Look, you're definitely right. The struggle is always yellow and white. Yellow and white does not shine. It doesn't pop off the screen, right, or off the printed material, because yellow is such a light color that kind of blends into the white background. Do you think the loss of the black corner will, kind of loses a bit of the essence of what the brand was all about?
Yes, I think that they should have chosen another flat color to enhance the shape, therefore keeping that iconography of what they initially designed. But I don't think that the tone works very, very well. But at the end of the day, I think that the fact that the symbols have got bigger, I think we just have to overlook it and live with it.
Yeah, we're about to. There it is.
Unbelievable. When you're having fun and you're getting intense, how quickly time.
Yeah, man. I really like this subject, and hopefully we get to talk about more of these rebrands and kind of look at what they're maybe trying to target through doing this rebrand. I want to point out one last thing. Is that the smaller this icon gets, the less detail you get in the icon. So the example I have is just up here. If you look at the little favicon, you see it looks like a blurry mess because there isn't a really distinctive line anymore. So then at this size, it's okay. At this size, it's getting a little blurry. If you took that down to this size, it would be undistinguishable. It just looked like a square with a little splodge in it. And then at that size, it literally just looks like a mistake, I don't want to rag on them too much, but I thought I'd just point that out, that maybe they didn't do all the considerations on application when they decided to go down that route,
So my point to bring home on this subject is that we get so used to a brand, we get so anonymous to a brand that when they make a change, we instantly don't. What have you done? And there's that little bit of and confidence that you tend to feel a little bit jolted. But I think a bit of time. I think that there's a plan around what they're doing. I think there's a big picture. I think that at the end of the day, they are really trying to be different to that of the other banks. And I think that they've gone and just taken a measured approach as to what they're doing, where the trends are going, and to how to be a little bit different in a market that's going to be very conflicted going forward, because banks definitely are in a dirty space.
Okay, so I've got a subject for another day to come off this. But with that, I have a question, which will lead the conversation for next time, right? The question I have is, could brands that are doing a rebrand invite their customers into the conversation earlier on to soften the blow of the rebrand? Or to create excitement around the rebrand, Could they start to unveil things along the process to bring the customer along with them on the journey, rather than just going, here's your new logo, hope you like it, goodbye, good luck.
I think that's a fantastic subject, because that is a real can of worms to open. I can see it, and I can see that.
Bad, I know too, right? I'm not going to talk about it now. We'll leave it for the next show. Is there anything else you want to wrap up just before I close off the show?
Well, that has gone so quickly. I can't believe we've covered 3 subjects already. So anyone that's out there, what we're trying to do right now is we're just trying to settle the show down. We're trying to find interesting subjects, and we want people to participate. So therefore, like and share naturally, but at the same time, subscribe. But more importantly, send us a question or send us a graphic if you want us to debate. We want to make sure that we can do more of these shows on a more regular basis. But at the end of the day, get there, be part of it, be part of our journey. And if you've got a business and a marketing and you want some expertise and advice, then call us at Branding. We'll unbundle it for you.
Look, on saying that, guys, we're not desperate for subjects. We've got a list of subjects that we want to talk about. but there's no point in us just talking about things we want to talk about. We want to talk about things that are relevant to you. That's why we ask. Yeah. So please do shoot through your questions, because we're excited to actually talk to you and talk with you about subjects that are really relevant and that are like things that are going on for you. So as always, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We're looking forward to the next show. We do this every first and third Friday. So the next one will be the first Friday of November. We are going to have a special guest on, yet to be exposed. But you will see some content out there, some promo content. So keep an eye out, and we'll have an exciting guest on the next show. Thank you as always for joining us. Have an awesome Friday, Grant. I really appreciate it, mate, as always. And we'll see you.
I always love it every single time. And you definitely brought up your game today. I loved it.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. Likewise. See you later, everybody. Great Friday.
Yes, goodbye.